Welcome to the OmniTalk Fast Five, sponsored by Takeoff and the A&M Consumer and Retail Group. The OmniTalk Fast Five is the funniest, fastest, and most fervently insightful breakdown of all the week's top news in the world of retail, and also the podcast with the best alliteration. It's August 5th, 2021. I'm your host, Ann Mazinga. I'm joined today by someone who definitely does have a retail podcast, despite my claims on LinkedIn a few weeks ago. America's Director of Retail Research for JLL and the podcast host of one of my favorite podcasts, Where We Buy, James Cook. James, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Anne, for having me. This is awesome. I feel like we just talked, right?
We did. Yeah, I was just so James and we just exchanged podcast slots. I was on James's live show on LinkedIn today, which was so fun. And yeah, it's been a day, James. It's already August. We're in the last month of summer somehow.
What happened?
I don't know.
Didn't summer just start?
I don't know. I think I've lost track of like the months in general these days. What's still on the summer bucket list, James? You got anything you got to try to get done in the next few weeks?
You know, Anne, I had this real plan that as restrictions were loosening, I was going to go out to eat a lot more at a lot of different places. But now with this Delta variant news, I've become hesitant again. I haven't eaten out as much.
Oh, I know.
I don't know how you feel about that.
I agree. I'm just like not ready for it. OmniTalk is taking a vacation next week, meaning I am taking a vacation for the first time in several months. And yeah, me and the boys, we're going out to Southern California. And at the time when we booked this trip several months ago, it seemed like a great idea. And now I'm kind of wondering, like, what's it going to be like? We'll try to stick to some outdoor hikes and stay outside most of the time. But yeah, it's things are changing again. And yeah, we're just going to have to do our best to try to roll with it, I guess.
Hey, the other travel that you're going to be doing as well is the grocery shop. Yes. Grocery
You
shop
are
conference
too.
in September.
Yes, you are too. I'm super excited. James, what are you going to be talking about at Grocery Shop this year?
The future of a physical in-store grocery experience. So, like, as you know, that's kind of my little world, is sort of the bricks and mortar, the future of kind of experiential retail. That's kind of my thing.
Yes.
So just talking about, how grocers are sort of adapting for the future, especially now where we're coming out, hopefully, out of the pandemic, and already restaurant sales have surpassed grocery sales again in the US. For a while, it was the other way around. And because of that, grocers are kind of thinking, hey, we got all of this market share growth. We don't want to lose all of it. So how do we maintain it? And I think a big part of that is offering a cool in-store experience.
Well, I am really excited to have you on the show today because we have a lot to talk about related to in-store experiences as well. Today on the Fast Five, we're going to talk about Wolverine acquiring Sweaty Betty, Square acquiring Afterpay, Marks and Spencer's automating click and collect and returns being the key thing there. EMCEE, a platform that allows influencers to be retailers. But we are going to take off with our very first headline, and that is that Kroger is launching ghost kitchens in some of its stores with a startup called Kitchen United. The first kitchen center under the Kroger partnership with Kitchen United is slated to open in a Los Angeles location of Ralph's this fall, with more sites planned for the rest of the year. The kitchens are going to feature a mix of up to 6 local, regional, and national restaurants, and customers will be able to order their food for pickup or delivery. Now, James, when Chris and I were on your show way back when, Where We Buy, I remember you specifically talking about how, as you're looking at malls, especially like pre-pandemic, there was this huge drive for like getting these food halls and food experiences into malls, into grocery stores. And so I was really excited when I saw this news this week and to know that you would be on the show, because I really want to get your thoughts on, is this something that we're going to see coming back? It certainly seems like we've seen a lot of movement toward it with, GoPuff and some others announcing these like ghost kitchen concepts. What are your thoughts here, James?
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, Kitchen United, it's a series of ghost kitchens across the US. Now, there's a couple of different flavors to this. Kitchen United is they're basically leasing out membership or leasing out space to third parties. So I'm a restaurateur and I want to spin up a virtual brand, or maybe I have a kitchen, but I can't support delivery from that kitchen at my restaurant, then I can get space there. So the model is, people are leasing from them. They're looking to expand quickly.
Right.
Kroger is looking to innovate, so they've got space. Let's take some of the space and allow Kitchen United to expand into here. My question is, it's interesting that we're starting with this because I was talking a little bit about in-store experience, and Kitchen United is really about convenience and speed. So when I don't want that in-restaurant experience, I do, order something that gets delivered by Kitchen United. They do click and collect, but it's very vanilla. There's no
Right.
experience there. So I don't know. Because if I were to put in a new food offering in a grocery store, I would have it be fun and experiential. And this, from the rendering that I saw, it seems, it's a click and collect kitchen area is what it seems like. So it could be awesome. I can't, we got to see what it looks like in real life to see how it works.
I think for me, it's really going to be about what the future footprint of these grocery stores ends up looking like. Really, and going back even further, like what is this next customer that's still evolving? I would argue we still don't know what the return to normal is going to be like. We haven't even, had people fully go back to the offices and kids being back in school again. We don't know what this next 2 years really is going to look like as we kind of figure out what our groove is, if we ever get into a new groove. And so I think that there's one thing though that's undeniable, and that's convenience. So how are these grocery stores going to pay off convenience? Being able to offer this experience of whether I'm coming in the store or I'm ordering online, I can get all of my groceries that I want. And in this case, I could potentially order a different meal for every single person in my family from a different restaurant, all in one order, whether I'm curbside picking up or I'm getting that delivered to my house. Let's move on to headline number 2. I have to say, I've been really impressed by the innovation. Speaking of innovative stores, coming out of Marks and Spencer's, they are rolling out digital click and collect and returns in 22 of their stores, with plans to expand this again to more locations. So what happens is, like, James, have you done in-store pickup, buy online, pickup in store kind of situations? You're familiar with the
Absolutely.
concept.
Yep.
So what Marks and Spencer's is doing is that shoppers use in-store screens to check in when they get into the store to pick up their online order, and then staff are alerted to retrieve it. So staff doesn't have to be, stuck at the order returns. They can be, helping guests in the store, but they, would get a notification, orders here, ready for pickup. And then customers can also do returns in the same manner. So instead of waiting in a long line 6 feet apart from people, you can now just select the product on your phone or at the self-service screen, put your return into a tray, and you're done. James, would you be willing to try something like this? I have to know.
Anything to get me out of a physical line is awesome. And, I'm happy to wait too. Like, think about, for example, Cheesecake Factory at the mall where, you check in at the desk and they give you the buzzer. You just go hang out in the mall. Everybody's happy to do that. You just go shop next door and wait till your table's ready. I'm a big fan of that. I haven't done any click and collect at Marks and Spencer. I live in the wrong country for that. But it sounds like it would be really cool, and I'd love to check it out.
You bring up such a good point. It's like, if you just tell me that I'm in a line, like if you just give me any indication, whether I'm at the DMV or I'm returning a product at Walmart, like I just want to know that I got a chance and that somebody is aware of that my order is coming out. And I think I'd even be willing to wait a little bit longer than I might if I'm just, standing in line. If I have, like you said, like I've got a buzzer, or I've got my mobile devices telling me you're, 4 in the queue or whatever it might be. The best part of this is that technology is being used to enhance the shopping experience. Yes, it may be taking the spot of, that person that's waiting at the counter, but this is a mundane cost, or a mundane task. Like, people shouldn't have to be standing there, not, doing something and waiting for customers to show up. This gives people the freedom to be untethered. And I think it's brilliant.
This reminds me of, have you heard about the new Harry Potter store in
Yeah.
Manhattan?
Yeah.
It's proved pretty popular. And so the way they control crowds is you go in the morning and there's a QR code on the door, and you scan it with your phone, and now you're in a virtual queue, and
Right.
you just hang out in Manhattan and you get a text. And when you get the text, you have an hour, I think, to go to the store. I think that's great. That's so much better than
Yes.
waiting some line for a store.
James, maybe you can go in. Chris and I were talking about that when it came out. Maybe you want to go in on us with like one of the delis or the shops or restaurants that are right around that Harry Potter store, because we feel like you need to either like get a food truck up there soon or do something, because
Yeah.
those people are going to be trapped in that spot. Yeah, I love
We'll
it.
sell knockoff butter beer, like like
Better,
put in
better butter beer.
better beer or something, and just like it's almost as good, you don't have to wait.
We'll be dressed up like Harry Potter characters, but that we did the makeup ourselves. We could go through a whole iteration of this, James.
Right.
Well, let's get to the next story. So Wolverine, the footwear company, who in addition to their own brand, also own Merrill, Saucony, Sperry, Hush Puppies, and Keds. They acquired the UK founded athleisure brand Sweaty Betty to expand into the rapidly growing female apparel category. So, this was a $410 million cash deal that closed on Monday. And the Sweaty Betty co founder and CEO, Julia Strauss, will still be with the business and will report to the Wolverine CEO. Sweaty Betty, for those of you who are not familiar, started as a London-based D2C brand and currently has 65 stores throughout the world. Now, James, A&M Consumer and Retail Group, they like to pick a question at random and put us on the spot. So every week, they put us in their shoes, serving up a consumer retail industry related question similar to the questions that they tackle to help ensure the clients that they're working with end up on the right side of retail disruption. So their question for us is this: the acquisition of apparel brands by footwear companies has not always maintained a successful track record. What, James, do we think are the potential pitfalls that Wolverine needs to avoid to set Sweaty Betty up for profitable growth?
This is a great question, and it speaks to probably what I would have said anyway. I haven't dug too deep into this deal, but all of the brands that Wolverine owns have something in common: their shoes. So that seems to be their expertise. I'm actually a fan of Sweaty Betty. I've been to the flagship in London, which is awesome. Just as an aside, they have F&B. They've got like a restaurant. They do workout classes. It's really cool. They had probably like 12 stores in the US, but they closed them, I think, during COVID. So anyway, two things. One, not shoes. So now it's time to expand your expertise into apparel, which is related, but it is different. And number two, now is a time where athleisure has been super hot because of
Mhm.
COVID. And we're just on the cusp of getting back into the workplace. And I'm a little worried. I don't think athleisure is going to suddenly not be hot anymore, but I think it's going to kind of transition away from that, just because our next big apparel purchases should be, I think, return to work, return to school.
Right. I completely agree. Yeah, that was kind of what came to my mind too, James. I mean, the first thing I could think of in response to that question was I would also avoid rapid expansion of the brand. Like I would not be like trying to go and open Sweaty Betty's, in 100 locations across the US. I specifically don't think that I'd be reopening physical stores in the US. They have a presence inside several Nordstrom stores in the US and Canada. And so I think I would continue again, like I think retailers still have this runway for the next couple of years to experiment where people are going to understand that, we've been through a pandemic. You're just starting to get to understand consumer habits again. And so I think that I would see what that shift looks like, what the return to work wardrobe looks like, and see, what you can gather still from your Nordstrom locations. And then I would say, look at experimentation more online. what can you start to introduce limited editions of or drops specifically for the Sweaty Betty online customer so that you can test the waters for that crossover market and again, see where the demand is online before you start, blowing up with Wolverine apparel. I think if they are going to do it, that's why I was suggesting, like, do you go for the drops and you're doing something that's more fashion over function, especially for the Sweaty Betty customer. I feel like that would be where I would be testing. Our next headline, Square acquired Australian buy now pay later company Afterpay on Sunday for a cool $29 billion. Now, Square already offered installment loans, which it said has been a really powerful growth tool for their core business. But it also plans to integrate Afterpay into both their seller and Cash App ecosystems. So, James, we touched on this on your show too. We got into a great conversation about it, but let's just talk briefly your thoughts on this buy now pay later environments. Like, have you started to see this kind of come into the fold inside retailers? Like, have you talked about stores doing this? What are your thoughts on kind of the future of where this is headed?
Yeah, it seems to be growing in popularity. And, I'm sure you've talked about it on this show. The idea that it allows you to buy something now without putting on your credit card, without paying all this interest. I got to tell you, Ann, I'm still trying to figure out there's something here I'm not missing. Like, there's got to be, because it seems too good to be true. Like, you're getting, so as a consumer, I get to break it up into 4 payments. So I pay a quarter of it now and I get it right away. I don't pay extra for that because the merchant is paying Afterpay, right? So
Yep.
me as a consumer, it's a great deal. Now, if I don't pay, then they're stuck collecting from me, but it's probably a small enough amount where you're not going to go to collections. So I don't know. It's like they're making all these mini loans. If there's another recession, maybe they get caught holding the bag with a bunch of mini loans. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out, because it seems great. Like, I can't come
Right.
up with the negative yet. And I'm like, well, there's always something here, but no, I'm a fan. And I think, and I think that just like, in the starting in the forever, department stores all had layaway departments. Get rid of those. Just have a, buy now in installments and take it away today.
It doesn't take away from the fact that people still need to be responsible with their money. I think the thing that I find, compelling about this is that, you do have to have the money or have a plan for the money to be coming there. It's not like credit card debt where you can just, rack up as much of it as you want and then you're stuck and you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars of credit card debt a few weeks later or months or years later. And I do think that, as I mentioned this on the show this morning, but I think that what I want to really pay close attention to is what this starts to look like as it spreads into physical retail. What happens when, it's in the grocery stores, and really what does that unlock for the family that is spreading payments out across an entire month? You mentioned, getting rid of payday loans and things like that. Like, the fact that this is enabling people to even purchase things like, the weekly groceries or essentials on a four-month or 4 payment plan offering is really significant. And for our audience, we've heard this time and time again. Just within the last few months, Big Commerce just named Sezzle as their exclusive partner. Shopify and Affirm have partnered. We talked about Apple Pay later last week. I think it's just going to keep going. The Klarna CEO called this a land grab, and I think this is a perfect description. So I think, it even in over the course of the next few months, we're just going to see this popping up all over. And I think everybody in the BNPL space is just trying to get that exclusive partnership and really figure out how they can differentiate themselves. How are they going to be able to make this more appealing for the merchants and for the consumers? Can they bring that rate down, that 5 or 6% per transaction that they're charging merchants? Can they bring that down to, a more credit card transaction like level? And just see kind of how they can compete. We are going on to our final story, James. We're talking about influencers becoming retailers. So MC, which is EMCE, is a platform that allows influencers to curate online storefronts and, get this, earn up to 25% commission from brands launched nationwide this week. Now, this free platform lets influencers monetize their audience by curating an online storefront with products from all the brands that they love. They post a link on their social profiles, and when their followers buy the product, the influencer gets a commission, and that commission amount is determined by the brand. So basically, James, what I can break this down for the audience, what this is like your favorite influencer creates a wedding registry, but just for themselves. So
Yeah.
it's like Zola, but across all these brands. It's not the first platform that we've seen do this. Amazon's done this with influencers, but this is simple. And again, it's great for the brand and great for the influencer, especially 25% of a sale. That blew me away, James. What do you think?
It allows you and I prefer the term creator to
Sorry,
influencer.
James.
And here's why, because if you ask me, James, do you follow influencers? I'm like, no. But there's like all these people that I follow on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, they're creators though, because it's about specific topics,
Right. Right.
So this MC platform allows you to not only sell things from third parties, but you can sell your own stuff.
Right.
So let's say I create my own t-shirt for my YouTube channel, that can be a part of it. Creators, a lot of times they're stuck making money with like affiliate marketing and stuff like that. And this is a great way to take control of that.
The traditional affiliate programs, just so people understand, that's like 5 to 10%, 10% if you're lucky. But it's not like this where there's high visibility on the ROI of working with that creator, James. I'm learning my new vocabulary. Creator. And then for the creators to actually make some money off of this. I mean, if they're going to be putting in the work there, I think, earning up to 25% is great. I mean, and I think as we look at how marketing is changing too, like brands are moving away from doing TV spots that cost, $500,000. And if you're putting that budget towards, 15 to 30 micro influencers that are in your brand where people can buy right from there, and you have a guaranteed, like, not, so many eyes saw your commercial. You have, this is what this influencer put on their profile. This is the content that sold the product. And this is how much revenue they're bringing in for the brand. I mean, it allows you, again, this real-time response to marketing, to advertising, and to getting your products out there.
So when is the OmniTalk MC shop going to open up?
I did try applying, just in case you were wondering, for this MC platform. And the age range they supply starts at like 8 to 10 and only goes up to 26. And then they just have a plus mark. So James, I don't think that they want us. We are not in their
just as an aside, who has all the money? It's us old people, right? Like, influence me. I have the money.
Yes. Oh, exactly. That's what I wrote. They were like, why do you want to be an influencer? I was like, to influence women and moms in their 40s. Like that's who I'm interested in targeting. Yeah. That's who has the money and who's paying for the Roblox accounts that are buying all the PacSun gear. Okay, James, that closes us up on the headlines, but it's time. Do you have some rapid fire questions in you?
I can do it. I'm ready. I told you it's been a long day, but I'm going to muster every last bit of energy I have for this.
We can do this. I'll help you out. All right. First question, James. Which company in this week's Fast Five would you most want to work with?
Okay. I'm going to go with Marks and Spencer. 2 reasons. One is I love traveling, and COVID has killed travel for me. I want to get to the UK. That would be a good excuse to do that. 2, when I have been to Marks and Spencer in the past, I love the food offer. They have these awesome food halls in many of their stores. I want to just go and eat there, and maybe, I don't know, I could be a food influencer for Marks and Spencer.
Perfect. A food creator. Creator.
That too. Yeah,
yes. Yeah. Next question. Bed Bath & Beyond announced they'll be exclusively selling reality star Kris Jenner's line of Safely cleaning products. What, James Cook, is your guilty pleasure reality show?
I watch a lot of true crime.
Okay.
So Dateline, 2020, every true crime podcast, every sleazy Netflix docu series about a serial killer.
Oh
I've
my
watched
gosh.
it.
That's your thing.
I love it.
Well, then this follow-up question is going to be even more interesting than I was anticipating. But is there anything on that reality show that the actors on the show could credibly sell?
Oh my gosh, no.
Next question. Corona released a vending machine this week that will only dispense beers if you ask for them using the correct Spanish accent, which we imagine only gets better the more beverages it dispenses. Which would you be better at, James? Ordering in perfect Spanish or doing a chicken dance for a free beer?
So I was actually exchange student in Spain when I was in high school. The
Oh, of
problem is Corona's Mexican, so it probably wouldn't like my Spanish accent, because it would be it would be a Castilian, a Spanish accent, so it probably wouldn't give
Oh,
it to me. So I guess I'd have to do that chicken dance. Actually, as an aside, I like Pacifico. If we're talking about Mexican beers, I'm always going to go for Pacifico over Corona anyway.
I know what I'm buying you at grocery shop. You and I, my friend, we are Pacifico pals. Yes. So you're going with the chicken dance. Yeah. I interviewed one of the vice presidents of e-commerce at Lowe's Foods this week. And that's where he was the inspiration for this. Apparently at Lowe's Foods locations, every time they bring out hot, fresh chicken, the whole store employee staff does a chicken dance. So you might
Okay.
have a future there, if you're chicken dancing for free beers. Okay, next question. Express launched the Express Style Editors program where it will turn creators into salespeople, giving them commission for e-commerce sales that they drive for the retailer. If you were to be a creator for any product, James, which product would it be?
I would want to do it for a place. Like,
Oh,
I was thinking like a food hall. You're going to notice a theme here with me. And
have you had lunch yet, James? I
I
feel like
have,
we
but
need.
I just love, I'll tell you, speaking of being a creator, we do videos on retail topics. And we did a video once called the Chicago Food Hall Challenge, where we had to go to four food halls in 2 hours and eat something at each one. Most popular video we ever did, like
Oh yeah.
10 times the amount of views. People loved it. We had so much fun. I would love, yeah, you could do, because you think about a food hall, there's so many different vendors in there doing, oh, I would love it.
Last question. Chain Store Age released their top retail experiences of 2021 this week and named Easton Town Center in Columbus #1 on that list. What retail experience or place, James, would be your pick?
So it has as yet to happen yet,
Ooh, a
but
tease.
when we're in Las Vegas, do you know about Area 15?
Oh, yes. I've heard amazing things. I
Yeah.
cannot wait to go. Are you going to go?
Oh my gosh. Oh, you have no idea. And I've been trading emails with their marketing manager. I'm going to we're going to do like a site tour. We did back when they were under construction, we did record a podcast there and talk with them and toured the site. And I've been following it super closely. We've had Meow Wolf on our podcast a couple of times. We've had Winston Fisher, who owns Fisher Brothers, who developed it. Like, this is the project I've been most excited about in like the past decade, because it's just like the experience mall.
Yeah.
So I know it's going to be the best. It's going to be my retail experience of the year, and it hasn't even happened yet.
Well, I cannot wait to hear your recap of that experience, James. James, we loved having you on the show today. If people want to follow you, they want to listen to the podcast, they want to watch the live events on LinkedIn, where can they do that?
Our podcast is called Where We Buy. You can find it on the web at wherewebuy.show. And then we go live every week on a show very similar to this one that you're watching right now, called Everything We Know About Retail. And you can go to everythingweknow.show and it'll take you to us on YouTube.
Thanks again, James. That wraps us up this week. I will be on vacation next week with the rest of the OmniTalk team, taking a much needed break, but we'll be back the following week with more retail news. So make sure you come join us again. Happy birthday today to two women whose TV career paths could not be more different. Marsha Brady, Maureen McCormick, and the infamous Whitesnake. Here I go again on my own music video model and actress, Tawny Katan. Do yourself a favor after this show and pull that jam up on Spotify. You will thank me later. And remember, if you can only read or listen to one retail blog in the business, make it OmniTalk. Our Fast Five podcast is the quickest, fastest rundown of all the week's top news, and our twice weekly newsletter tells you the top 5 things you need to know each day, and also features special content exclusive to us and just for you, and all within the preview pane of your inbox. You can sign up today at omnitalk.blog. Thanks as always for listening in, and please remember to like and leave us a review wherever you happen to listen to your podcast or on YouTube. And of course, be careful out there. The OmniTalk Fast Five is brought to you with the help and support of the A&M Consumer and Retail Group. The A&M Consumer and Retail Group is a management consulting firm that tackles the most complex challenges and advances its clients, people, and communities toward their maximum potential. CRG brings the expertise, tools, and operator-like pragmatism to help retailers and consumer products companies be on the right side of disruption. And Takeoff. Takeoff is transforming grocery by empowering grocers to thrive online. The key is micro-fulfillment, small robotic fulfillment centers that can be leveraged at a hyper-local scale. Takeoff also offers a robust software suite so grocers can seamlessly integrate the robotic solution into their existing businesses. To learn more, visit takeoff.com.